It's time to play the show. The bell has rung, and that big show might be over. But it's time for us to bring wrestling information you can enjoy with the match predictions, analysis, the ups and downs of professional wrestling, all reaction, some beverage drinking to bring you logic on tap with your good brothers. It's time for you to look into the eyes of Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder on Beer, Blues, and BS.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special Triple B quick fire review of AEW's Revolution 2024. I'm your host, the living embodiment, Charlie Brown, Howard Blues, here as always with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing?
You know, it's been a long day there, Jaco. It's been a long day, Howard Blues, because I've been hitting it hard today. From early this morning, live gaming, late at night, live streaming, talking wrestling. Here we are. It's amazing.
Yeah, you've been
happy to be here.
Putting in the work, and this is going to be fun. We're calling this a quick fire review. If you've seen some of our other shows, usually Kidder and I like to break down the action, tell you what happened. You know, basically, we watch the show so you don't have to. But this is an AEW event. It's 11 o'clock. It just ended. And instead of being up, for 2 hours trying to break it all down, we both have work tomorrow. So we're going to try to do this really fast, quickly kind of hit the matches, the winners, the times. Kidder watched the pay-per-view. I did not. So he's going to give you a rating on the match. He's also going to fill in some of our usual things, like what was our DraftKings screwy finish of the night. If there was anything important, he'll share that as well. Also, if you haven't ever tuned in with before, Kidder and I have a little game going where we compete for the defunct WWE pay-per-view bragging rights. We made our predictions before the show, and we're going to see who got the most correct. And Kidder, I'm off my antibiotics, so it means the return of penalty shots, and I'm still working on this terrible peppermint schnapps. So let's hope I don't have to drink too many of these, as we're going to go really fast, hopefully, through the show. So I think that sums it up. Yeah. So shall we dive into the action?
Yeah, we could sure do that. Obviously, I'd like to talk about the graphics, the presentation, the visual appeal of the show, and very good. I like the theme. Continues this theme, and so very good. Opening video got me pumped up for the show, which I also love. Even the opening for 0 Hour, love that as well. I do have to say, I thought it started at 5 Central, but it started at 5:30 Central, and by 5:30, that was half an hour of promo. So nothing actually happened until the actual hour before. So, yes, from 6 p.m. to 11 Central Time, we had ourselves the old show. 5 hours of content. Dig the graphics, dig the transitions. Very good. Also interesting, in a graphic they showed during the show as a promo for a match coming up on Dynamite. They are changing the graphics for Dynamite and the logo. So we'll have a brand new logo coming up Wednesday. So that will be interesting. They also announced a show on April 21st. So we'll get another pay-per-view on April 21st, as they're starting to do more of them. Yeah. Also in 2 weeks is the Dynamite episode, Big Business. And a lot of people are thinking that Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks will be debuting. But anyway, we'll see. So let's, unless you wanted to touch base on some other stuff, get this thing rolling.
Yeah, let's dive into it and hit the matches of 0 Hour first. Right. So.
Well, there were almost 17,000 people. It was a sold-out arena. And the first match, officially, on the 0 Hour, was the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, who you fondly know as Anthony Bowens, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, Daddy Ass, Switchblade Jay White, and Platinum Max Caster, versus Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy, and Mark Queen, and Satnam Singh, and Willie Mack. As I go over here, this match, again, 0 Hour, as Jaco happened to mention there. This was 12 minutes, 25 seconds in length. So, 12-man tag. Lots of combinations, lots of action. Happy to see it. Some heat, hot tags going on. Charging up big moves. Daddy Ass gets hot tag. There's stunners, there's crushers. Top rope with Senton, Atomico. A 450 that Billy Gunn kicked out of, a Blade Runner, and everything of everybody doing something cool territory, if you will. And yes, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang picking up a win by pinfall. For the record, we made our predictions before the show, as I found out the 2 0 Hour matches, so we locked in our predictions before for those, and then for the rest of the show we had our predictions in as of Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And that video is out. I picked, if I remember correctly, the Acclaimed and the Bullet Club Gold, i.e. the Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
Yep, and so did I. So we both start off with a point. And just because I know how good my luck is, I've already got the first shot poured. So I'm just waiting.
Wow.
I'm just waiting.
Masochist. After the match, Jay White got on the mic, talked to the crowd, and tells everybody to listen, throws their guns up, talked about the fans of Greensboro, hyped up the huge show for tonight, and then also teased that he will have some big business of his own to handle March 13th. Then there was a vignette for Pac, the bastard. He will be returning very soon, quote, whether we like it or not.
Okay. Good to have him back.
All right. Next up on the 0 Hour, Julia Hart and Sky Blue versus Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale. Tag match here. This lasting 13 minutes, 30 seconds. I believe I picked Julia Hart and Sky Blue.
You did, and I went with Statlander and Nightingale.
All right. So, another good match. Lots of back and forth and some pretty cool tag and regular match moves. Very happy about that. There's also a huge Death Valley driver, and Julie Hart ended up kicking out. So, short arm lariat, spine buster, Dr. Bomb reverse, sunset flip, blind tags, Sky kicking her head off, but can't keep Willow Nightingale down. Willow Nightingale did a missile drop kick, tagged in Chris Statlander, Julia with a moonsault, Willow breaks it up, a kneeing armbar applied, Blue cuts Nightingale out, drops with a missile drop kick on the floor, tag made, Sky ducks a kick off the ropes, Nightingale gets her up, and Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale win by a pinfall with a Dr. Bomb from Nightingale onto Sky Blue.
All right.
And that ends your 0 Hour. They ran down everything. I ran to the bathroom, came back, and opening credits. Nice short opening video, little pyro. Here we are. First match on the card, opening it up, it's Christian Cage, your AEW TNT champion, versus Daniel Garcia. This match, 16 minutes, 50 seconds in length, and I choose Christian Cage to retain.
I also went with Cage on this one.
Okay. Some good moves in this one as well. Lots of back and forth, which is to be expected. Should be noted that Christian Cage came to the ring with the rest of the patriarchy. So, there's that to take into account. Basically, all kinds of stuff over the place, even with the shenanigans trying to happen. Basically, Daniel Garcia got put out and several times kicked out. So then he was hopefully going to be a count out, get to the 10 count, but Garcia beats it all the time, making it back in and making Christian Cage take it to the limit. So lots of stuff, including a lot of punches, whips, lariats, lots of lariats. Even at one point pulled Christian's turtleneck up over his head and then started punching him in the face up on the turnbuckle, because Christian's got the big turtleneck. Diving splash reversed into an ankle lock. Garcia then still trying to fight back, but Kristen distracts Aubrey Edwards, the official. Kill switch hits a choke slam, and off the top again, frog splash. Daniel Garcia doesn't stay down though, and then Daddy Magic Matt Bernard comes down to even the odds. Put kill switch into the steps, blocks a slap from Mother Wayne. Kill switch comes back over to fight him, and then they brawl all the way out to the back. Cage's leg gives out on a spear. Garcia hits a pile driver with a close 2.33333, repeating. Jackknife pin, 1, 2, oh. Christian Cage is in the ropes. Mother Wayne runs some interference, and then Nick runs in, and Christian Cage wins by pinfall with kill switch, retaining the AEW TNT Championship.
Man, kiddo, that sounds like a lot of screwy things, but I mean, it's the first match. It couldn't possibly be the DraftKings screwy finish of the night, could it?
It's pretty screwy, but I'm gonna have to say there's screwierness happening later in the show.
Oh boy.
So let's keep it rolling, huh?
Yeah.
Next match on the card is Eddie Kingston, your AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor Continental Crown Champion. And New Japan Strong Openweight Champion and Ring of Honor World Champion. It's like a trifecta versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. This match, 19 minutes, 45 seconds. And I think I picked Eddie Kingston.
You actually picked Bryan Danielson.
I did. Okay.
Yep.
I picked Bryan Danielson.
I went with Eddie Kingston.
Okay. Well, here we go. They started hitting each other right at the bell. They went back and forth. Standard chops, chop, chop, chop. Lots of chops. Suicide dives, hammering kicks, missile drop kicks, stretches, doing some weird things with the other's arms and trying to make them tap out, running corner drop kicks, dragon suplex, back kick, another dragon suplex, more chops, Northern Lights bomb, back fist to the future, an enziguri, Busaki knee, just back and forth. Now triangle choke. In fact, they're trying to make sure that, Eddie is still alive. Suplexes, a bunch of them. Both men going back and forth still. Chop, 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 trading. Left hand, Tenuro jab, more strikes, back body drop from Danielson, And Eddie ends up countering with a knee and a lariat, then a powerbomb lift, and Eddie Kingston picks up the pinfall with the powerbomb, retaining all of that and earning a handshake from Bryan Danielson.
Kidder, I'm going to have to start pouring my shots early. I mean, I have so far gone 4 for 4. So
yes.
I'm doing well.
19 minutes, 45 seconds for that one. Next one on the list is the All-Star Scramble match instead of the Meat Locker match. This winner receives a future AEW World Championship match and is 15 minutes, 45 seconds in length, featuring Brian Cage, Chris Jericho, Dante Martin, Hook, Lance Archer, Magnus, Wardlow, and Powerhouse Will Hobbs. I believe I chose Wardlow.
Nope, you had Hook.
I had Hook.
You had Hook. I had Wardlow.
Yes. See, this is what happens when we make our picks 2 days before, and I don't write them down.
And that's why if you see Howard looking down, yeah, I the official keeper of the score.
Yes. Fantastic. And by the way, anybody watching or listening, you could throw your reactions in the chat. We'd love to hear from you, and it'll pop up on the stream on both YouTube and Twitch. So there you go. So right away, everybody is going after everybody because, it is All-Star Scramble, and they're scrambling because they can't have meat. And so people start blasting each other, and then the crowd starts chanting meat. And every hit. Yes, it was that kind of a show. So they're going back and forth. It's all over the place, but the action is really good. Hobbs is basically trying to repeat another cool rope walk moonsault, but Will pulls him down in a spine buster. Cage comes in, Death Valley Driver on Powerhouse. Fireman carry. Wardlow slips out. Jericho hits a code breaker. Hook breaks it up. There's a bunch of dives happening. Hook stands up, goes up to the top. Diving axe handle onto Brian Cage. There's more chaos. There's on the turnbuckles. There's a frog splash. Cage is kicking out. There's a drop toe hold, sets Dante into the ropes. Magnus hits a tiger feint kick. Ace crusher. Nope. The butterfly backbreaker is charging in. Corner lariat. Double knees on top of that. Lance cuts him off. Rising knee. Tries to pin. Not enough. Sets Magnus up top. Slips out the blackout. Jericho and Magnus work together. Hits a double suplex on Murder Hawk Monster. It's just all over the place. Martin comes running in. Snap, scoop, power slam. Cuts him off, though. 2 count. Bryan's in. Super kick. Corner uppercut and lariat. Back suplex. Another one out of the corner. Hook comes in to confront. Ducks a lariat. Plants it with the forearms. Ducks a lariat. A Tazplex blocked with a short arm lariat. Wipes him out. Wardlow comes back in. Starts suplexing people. Hits one for Archer. Hits one for Magnus. Hook's looking for Red Room, but Mr. Mayhem fades and crumbles into the mat. Jericho comes in, hits the walls of Jericho on Wardlow. At the same time, Hook has him in Red Room. Cage knocks Y2J out with a super kick. Hook German suplexes him and squares up with Jericho. Jericho starts hitting chops on Hook and then whips across. Tazplex, Northern Lights suplex into the bridge. Almost 3. Powerhouse comes back in, throws Hook to the corner, whips him. Jericho sidesteps. A triangle drop kick sends him flying. World's most dangerous slam on the floor. Going back inside. Cage hits a knee and an F5 on Hook, but Wardlow cuts him off and he can capitalize. They start trading lariats, power bombs, and Martin slides in to try and steal it. Big slam on Magnus. Archer takes him out, slips on the apron, enziguri double jump moonsault. Archer won't stay down. Red Room attempt. Wardlow slings him off. Huge headbutt and then a lariat. Elevates him, hits him with the power bomb, and 1, 2, and 3. Wardlow picks up the win with the last ride on Dante Martin, sending him flying.
Wow.
And that was 15 minutes, 45 seconds.
I was going to say, that was a very fast and crazy 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's all over the place. All right, next up on our Fast and Furious non-trademark review of AEW Revolution. Orange Cassidy, your AEW International Champion, versus Roderick Strong. And I, of course, pick OC.
Same. We're both going for the Orange Cassidy.
All right. 12 minutes, 45 seconds for this singles match. Sidekick right out the gates. Also, Orange told the best friends to stay in the back because he's tired of his friends getting hurt. So, huge chop. Ducks it. Rock bottom. Backbreaker connects, and then Strong follows with a chop. Cassidy goes out to the floor. Roderick's there. Back suplex into the barricade. They go back inside the ring. Backbreakers and another backbreaker. They're fighting over the turnbuckles, and then Orange starts getting a little bit of reaction and momentum. But then they go up top. Roderick Strong hits a Dr. Bomb backbreaker into the top turnbuckle. Strong follows it with a bow and arrow over the post, and then back inside. Cassidy gets a second win, looks for satellite DDT, but Roderick reverses it into a gutbuster. Stung Dog Millionaire counters, and another rock bottom backbreaker, and both men are down. Boston Crab gets applied. Cassidy's crawling and gets a hold of the ropes. Breaks the hold. The full-on strong hold is applied, though, and Orange is in pain. He's shaking his head, fighting his way, kicking out of it, up the ropes. Satellite DDT hits. Cassidy rolls to the apron into the corner. Panama Sunrise, and Strong kicked out. Orange wants to hit Beach Break, but his back starts giving out, and he's all taped all the way up from his waist to his shoulders, by the way, with the kinetic tape. He uses the ropes for leverage, hits Beach Break. Gosh, Roddy gets the ropes, sets it up, hits Roderick Strong, hits the end of Heartache. 1, 2, and 3. Roderick Strong picks up the win and becomes your new AEW International Champion. Out of the crowd, somebody comes running in and over the barricade. It's Kyle O'Reilly. He runs back into the ring with Roddy, Bennett, and Taven. He's prowling, ultimately shakes Roddy's hand. Mike Bennett takes the literal shirt off his back to give to Kyle O'Reilly, who takes it excitedly before putting it on Roddy's shoulder, whispering something in his ear, and leaving upset. Just like me at the conclusion of that match.
Yeah, hate to say it, but that match was clearly not freshly squeezed. Kind of like this peppermint schnapps. Ugh. Ah.
Yep. All right. Next up, it is FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood versus the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley. This 21 minutes 50 seconds in length, and I pick FTR.
Same, because why wouldn't you pick FTR? Those guys are awesome.
They are. 2022 and 2023 Pro Wrestling Insider Tag Team of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here we go. It is Cash and Castagnoli starting it off. Claudio starts hitting him with open palm strikes, big uppercuts, send him spiraling into the corner, tags Mox in. John ends up on the wrong side of town, tags from FTR, gets the better of Dax, pulls him into the corner for a tag to Castagnoli. Again, uppercuts and headbutts in the corner, whip it across, side Russian leg sweep. FTR takes control. Claudio's over in the corner, chopping away, comes back, and then suddenly tags Mox in. They're grinding Cash down. Deathlock, bridge up, and hand scissors, and Cash is getting out of it. Dax runs to break it up. Cash hits a big chop on Moxley. Thumbs him in the eye. Tags Claudio. Blackpool tries to stay in charge here with the hot tags. Wheeler explodes out of the corner. Tags in Harwood. Dax starts running in on Claudio. Chops in the corner. Short arm lariat to Moxley. And then off the ropes. Blocks Swiss Death. Hits a small package and gets a 2 count. Float over a suplex. A neutralizer denied. Going for the pile driver, but Claudio posts Dax and nearly gets a pinfall on Cash. And Dax gets busted open. He is bleeding from the forehead profusely. Just bleeding all over the place. Claudio hits a fireman's carry and a tag. An assisted air raid crash. Nope. Dax is able to get out. Still looking for some pinning predicaments. An assisted pile driver. Then John Moxley kicks out of that. Blackpool hits a doomsday device. Wheeler ends up breaking that up. Blocks the finish. Ace crusher from Moxley. A giant swing from Claudio. The blood was dripping from Dax's head in the spiral. He could not stop bleeding. Then a huge drop kick, and Dax still will not stay down. Moxley with overhead elbows to the forehead wound. Then he bites it and starts sucking up Dax's blood a little bit. Dax pushes him away and spits in his face. Claudio blasts him with a big boot, gets knocked to the floor, hits another doomsday device. Moxley kicks out. FTR hits a shatter machine, but Claudio pulls Dax off of the pin. Cash dives into Swiss Death and a neutralizer on the floor. Dax pile drives Castagnoli onto the floor as well. Inside the ring, there's an underhook. It's blocked. Then there's a pile driver that's blocked. A back body drop. The roll through the underhooks. The kick out from Dax. Tries to pin. Gets a 2. Bulldog choke locked in. Claudio fights with Wheeler on the apron. Back inside. Pushes him away with a sleeper hold. Mox gets the sleeper in. And due to a referee stoppage with the body scissors sleeper from Mox onto Dax, the BCC picks up the win.
Man, I don't know what I'm more disappointed to hear, Kidder. That FTR lost, or the fact that I switched over to Kahlua gingerbread for this shot.
Ugh.
Yeah. Neither one is a good thing. But
That's been good.
Cheers to cheers to your help. Oh, I forgot how bad that stuff was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Well, let's go back to the part of the show where I was getting them all right. Okay.
Oh yeah, you had to say something about that. So next up, it's a singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship. This 12 minutes and 15 seconds in length. Toni Storm, your women's champion, versus Deonna Purrazzo. I picked Toni Storm.
Same.
All right.
Same.
Now, apparently back in the day, they were roommates, and so there is a lot of knowledge between the two, I guess. So they went right after each other, testing their strength, and Purrazzo pulls Toni in an arm drag, rolls it into a Fujiwara armbar, but Storm gets a foot on the ropes. Carrying on the mat, they're grappling, they're punching Toni. I should say Purrazzo's punching Toni. Seated rear chin lock, a seated senton, and a stomp. They're trading rights and elbows in the middle of the ring. They're whipping and reversing, ducking lariats. Deonna goes over a few times, hitting the knee trembler into a side Russian leg sweep, and then bridges in the Fujiwara armbar. Kicks on the apron, and Toni goes flying. Luther catches her, but Deonna dives onto both of them. They get back inside the ring. Deonna has her beat and starts tapping, but Luther distracts the referee, and Mariah May comes in, makes the save. Toni Storm hits Storm 0 and picks up the pinfall 1, 2, 3. Your winner and still AEW Women's World Champion is Toni Storm.
So Kidder, I gotta ask, because there were some shenanigans here. Is this the DraftKings Screwy finish of the night?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
More to come, folks. More to come. Well, just wait.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait.
Mm-hmm. Stay tuned.
Coming. Yeah.
Next up, Konosuke Takeshita and Will Ospreay. 22 minutes even in a singles match. I picked Will Ospreay, bruv. Because he likes saying bruv every bruvin word, bruv.
And I also chose Will Ospreay.
All right. Don Callis was on commentary for this. Right out of the gates, they're going hard at each other with a superplex, rear chin lock, cobra twist, boots, springboard elbows, the tope con giro, up top, spinal tap, spikes, German suplexes, bridges, aerial assassins, rolling elbows. This is unbelievable. Up, down, around. The Ospreay's flipping around like one of those freaking little toys from the 90s that you would flip and go sailing around. Unbelievable. Back and forth. Takeshita wound up at one point with a bolo punch and laid out Ospreay. Still going back and forth. Crescent kicks. Konosuke slips out of a Stormbreaker. A Tiger Driver and Takeshita kicked out. Springboard caught. Blue Thunder Driver and Ospreay kicked out. A rolling German suplex was denied. Kicks from Will. A double jump. An Os cutter that was blocked off the ropes. Ducked a lariat. Springboard is back and forth. Miss this. Miss that. Counter this. Hidden blade. Takeshita pops up. Hits a lariat. Tapping him in the corner. And they go up top, and Takeshita hits an avalanche brainbuster and like ripped up Ospreay's side on his back. It looked like it hurt. More near falls, more running knees, stun dog millionaire, poison Frankensteiner, underhooks, reversals, wheelbarrow tombstone pile driver into a wheelbarrow suplex. Pops up, lariat, Takeshita kicks out at 1. Ospreay hits a Styles Clash with 2. Tiger Driver 91. Hidden Blade. That is what finally does it. After all of this back and forth, unbelievable action. Will Ospreay picking up the 1, 2, 3 with a Hidden Blade over Konosuke Takeshita. After the match, Kyle Fletcher, Don Callis go into the ring, and they celebrate as Ospreay gives Takeshita some head pats for a job well done. Kyle and Will embrace in the ring as that is the match that we will be having on Wednesday in Dynamite.
So two things, Kidder. Just kind of one's a question, one's a interesting thought that I had, which could be the liquor talking. The question, just from your description, this almost sounds like this might have been your match of the night.
It was,
or at least was a pretty impressive match. So
Ospreay has some talent, yeah. I mean,
okay.
Takeshita has some talent as well.
I
did enjoy it. However, I think I enjoyed our main event the most.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. The other thing is more of a statement as you're going through this and you're naming out some of these moves that I have no idea what they are. It just kind of occurred to me that you could be just making some of this stuff up. And I wouldn't know. You know, you just slip in something like, you know, Tiger Driver 91 into a beef jerky into a flying knee, and I just
into the Howard Blues 84. Yeah. That's the one where you accidentally drink too many shots. And then
I'm just glad we're back to me getting them right.
I'm going to 4-wheel drive. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm feeling those first two pretty
perfect.
You're
gonna have to take off that hoodie pretty soon because it's getting hot. Getting hot.
Yeah.
All right. Next one on the card for tonight is a triple threat for the AEW World Championship. That's right. Samoa Joe, your AEW World Champion, versus Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana. And I went with Samoa Joe to retain.
You did, and I, in the sake of trying to just be different, because it's no fun when we have all the same answers, picked Hangman Adam Page.
Okay. 19 minutes, 40 seconds. Here we go. Joe comes in, starts chopping away. It's an enziguri on Page, but Page sidesteps a dive from Strickland. So there's a big dive onto Swerve. More kick and hitting Hangman. Samoa Joe is on the floor now. There's just all kinds of action in this one. Belly-to-belly suplexes. There's so many suplexes that I couldn't even keep count in all of these matches. Had I actually kept the tally, it would have been like 10, 10, 10, 10. But we can't even say that because Shawn Spears is now back in WWE and showed up on NXT and is apparently going to go by Shawn Spears for this chairman run. But anyway, we got face washes on Adam, a Tenura powerbomb into an STF and a kick out. Swerve's inside. They're going forearms back and forth between he and Samoa Joe. Go down to the floor, taking turns to try and get under Joe for a powerbomb. They decide to work together and hit a double powerbomb. And then the challengers go at each other with elbows back and forth, and Joe breaks them up. Samoa Joe gets blasted down to the floor and hits him with a kick. Gets back inside. Page scoops Swerve up, reverses it, which then gets reversed again. Hangman slips out of that, which is a reversal of a reversal of a reversal. Hits a back elbow out of the corner. Goes up top. It's a moonsault. Rolled right into a tombstone pile driver, and Samoa Joe breaks up the pin once again. Hangman's looking for Deadeye, but no deal. Power bomb, float over, vertical suplex, and again, Samoa Joe breaks it up. Samoa Joe gets Page up for the muscle buster, hits a huge muscle buster, swerve stomp in quick succession. Bam, bam, there it is. Hangman is laying there, another house call, but guess what? No pin there. Suddenly, a Shadows over Hell 450 splash on top of Joe. Strickland drags himself up to the ropes, hits a swerve stomp. Hangman pulls the referee out of the ring right before he can hit 3. And Swerve gets blasted with the title belt. He yells that Swerve will never hold his title. And it's a buckshot on Samoa Joe. And then a second buckshot. There's no referee. He's holding a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Suddenly referee Bryce Remsburg comes flying in and hits a 2 count because it's way too late. Page celebrates like he won before realizing that he screwed it up. Joe hits the coquina clutch. Swerve breaks that up with the tornillo. Prince Nana throws Swerve the crown that he used last time to beat Samoa Joe, but then throws it back and says, nah, I'm going to do this right. Joe grabs him with a coquina clutch. Strickland swips out. Victory roll. Hangman shoves Bryce Remsburg into the pin to break it up. Then starts getting on top of Swerve. Starts punching him. Throws Remsburg out of the ring. Strickland windmill punches him and then gets back to Joe. Hits an enziguri, throwing Page out of the ring. But skins a cat. Lays Shane out with a buckshot. Joe, with a lariat of his own, sets up the muscle buster in the corner, but Swerve fights out. Another buckshot on Samoa Joe. Strickland hits buckshot on Hangman. Then a JML driver connects, but Joe hits a half Nelson suplex, grabs Page, puts him in the coquina clutch. Paul Turner suddenly wakes up. And Hangman Adam Page has submitted through the Coquina Clutch, and Samoa Joe retains the AEW World Championship.
Good for Joe, bad for me. What's even worse, and Kidder, I don't know if you can pick it up, but the peppermint schnapps is now clouded with that gingerbread rum. So,
oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so this is just going to get worse.
Wonderful.
Good
Minty
news fresh.
You. One match to go.
Yeah.
Which is a new thing in WWE Raw and SmackDown. Brought to you by Capital One. There's one match to go. Bing, bing, bing. This show not brought to you by Capital One, but if they'd like to pay us Capital One, then you can get your Capital One Venture card anywhere, anytime. All right. It's time for the main event. And this features Darby Allin and Sting, the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Also, Sting's final match in AEW, officially his retirement match, versus the EVPs, the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson. I pick Sting and Darby Allin.
Yeah, this has been the big question surrounding this event, Kidder, and the big debate, because the if Sting and Darby win, what do they do with the titles? Does Darby have to vacate it? Does he find a new partner?
They retire them too.
Yeah, or is
a trios belt? That's the tag division.
which is so important that it didn't even make the pay-per-view. Or does Sting follow the wrestling tradition of going out on his back? So while you went with the positive Sting going out, the victory, I went with the tradition, and I didn't just do it to troll you, but I took the Young Bucks. Yeah.
It happens. Okay. Are you ready?
Not really. I don't have a good feeling about this. I think I might be taking another shot.
Okay, 21 minutes, 25 seconds in length, and here we go. Darby Allin starts it off right away before the bell even rings with a huge dive, takes the Bucks out into the announce desk. I should also mention that Sting's two sons were accompanying Sting to the ring, dressed as the All-American Sting and one of the other 80s or early 90s Sting, which I'm trying to remember the word for it, but basically trench coat Sting. So they all did, because this is a tornado tag match, so it's a Texas tag match, and anything goes, but the pin has to be made in the ring. Apparently. Updating Howard the Ref's rule book.
No, that's usually how it falls when you have a tornado tag.
Very good. So, all four of them took turns doing the Surfer Sting is who it was, and Wolfpack Sting. So there you go. Now I remember. They're doing stinger splashes in the corner because the Young Bucks are in opposite corners, and they just rotated through all of them a few times. So there was that. Did a double Scorpion Deathlock, which was also pretty cool. Sting put both of the Young Bucks into it, but they were able to get out of it. So now they're on the floor, and they're whipping Nick into the barricade a few times, and then they threw him into the crowd, hit a back body drop, coffin drops. Then they reach under the ring and start pulling out furniture and panes of glass. Big old panes of glass. And they pull them out. Laid one across 6 chairs set up next to the ramp. and put one next to the side, and the Young Bucks started coming back into the ring, and Sting smashed the one pane of glass to threaten him a little bit. Well, Nick ended up hitting a jawbreaker on Darby, and then a Falcon Arrow off the stage through some tables. Because there's tables set up everywhere. There's chairs set up everywhere. And there's ladder now in the ring. Matt got his hands on Sting. Sting blocked a hip toss and hit a body blow, and then an inverted face lock. Jackson starts gouging his eyes to break free, and then hits a suplex off the stage and puts Sting through a table. The crowd starts chanting, F the Young Bucks, except, not a YouTube algorithm killer. The chants are raining down. Nick takes Darby back into the ring, leans that ladder in the corner. They double power bomb him into the ladder. Ooh. Allen's then fighting them 2-on-1, and he reverses Yoshi Tonic on Matthew. Then, all the way up top, Nick onto the glass, a Senton Atomico off the top and to the floor, but Matt pulls Nick out of the way, and at the last second, Darby goes through that pane of glass, smashing it all over the place. The chairs go flying. He turns over and he's just laying there. I was wondering if he was broken in half. The cool shot about it is you see, his back because he's not wearing a shirt, right? So it's just skin, and suddenly you see little red pools everywhere, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. He's bleeding like the proverbial stuck pig. Jim Ross was also on commentary for this. By God, he's broken in half. So, Bucks go over and they're working Sting over because they had to, because the medical team was over trying to patch up Darby Allin so he wouldn't bleed out, because he was literally bleeding everywhere. So Sting is coming to the comeback. He's hitting Matt's head onto the mat, climbs the ladder, but Matt ends up recovering, puts Sting through a table again. Sting pops back up right away. No selling the table. Bucks have some glass in the corner. Lights him up with punches, but the Bucks throw Sting through that pane of glass. Suddenly, Sting gets up. They hit him with a low blow. Then they hit him with a scorpion death drop, and Sting will not let that go. There's blood on Nick's face as he goes for one of the title belts, and I forgot to mention that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Ric Flair were in attendance and had made their entrances. Were sitting next to the commentary desk. Well, Nick goes to grab one of the championship belts. Ricky Steamboat stops him, but then they pull him closer to the ring, and Matt hits Ricky Steamboat with a chair. Then Ric Flair slides into the ring to check on Sting, begs at Matt's feet. He starts covering Sting and tells both of them that it's enough, back off, and then both of them hit Ric Flair with a stereo super kick, killing Ric Flair. By God, he's dead. And then they set up, Ricky Steamboat starts getting up, and they super kick him off the apron. Grab the belt. Matt blasts Sting in the face. Cover. 2 count. Another super kick party, but Sting's fired up, starts beating his chest. Takes a double lariat and takes them both out. Hits a scorpion death drop. Nick breaks it up. They call it now the EVP trigger instead of the BTE trigger. So the EVP trigger, but again, Sting kicks out of that. Bucks are arguing with the referee, Rick Knox. Matt talks Nick down. They grab Sting's hands again. Hit another EVP trigger. Sting kicks out at 1. Sting starts beating his chest some more. Another super kick party. Drawing the icon up, setting him up with the TK driver. Darby suddenly comes flying in, pushes Nick off the turnbuckles, through a table, Scorpion death drop onto Matt, but he kicks out. So Darby gets up top, hits a cop and drop, one last Scorpion deathlock, and it is done. By submission, Scorpion deathlock from Sting. Matt Jackson weasels out there. And Darby and Sting retain the AEW World Tag Team Championship. And that, Howard Blues, with all the screwiness, here's a Triple B DraftKings screwy finish of the night, because there was screwiness through the whole thing, even though it was allowed to happen. And I want to know where Sting's kids went, because they disappeared. Like, where did they go? Anyway.
They just disappeared. They did their bit. They were gone.
Basically, yeah.
You know, yeah. So, somebody offered them, you know, Kahlua gingerbread shots, and they're like, "Nah, we're out. We gone."
Pretty much. Yeah. There.
Yeah. To Sting. Nah.
Yeah. Cheers to you, Howard Blues. After the match, Darby and Sting celebrate. Darby grabs a mic, says they have 3 minutes, and asks the crowd to show some love to Sting. Sting gets on the mic, thanks Greenborough, and he's been thanking him since March of 1988. Went 45 minutes with, Ric Flair for that world title. Thanks, Ric Flair, as well. Says he's been, you know, saying all kind of things in interviews, just wants a night that fans won't forget, and that it is a night that he will never forget. The crowd chants, "Thank you, Sting," of course, and a standing ovation. He also thanks Darby Allin, calls him one of the greatest tag partner, or it calls him the greatest tag partner that he's had, and wonders how many stitches his back will take. Darby said that he was going to die in Sting's last match, and almost did. Sting tells him to wait because he's got more, you know, they basically had to shut it off because it was right at 11. But very good. They went off the air, and that is that. After 21 minutes, 25 seconds for final match. And your AEW Revolution pay-per-view.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this up, Kidder, very kind of quickly. For those who weren't keeping score, because hey, I was. Kidder, you came in second place tonight. You got 6 correct, which is just one shy of my 7 correct, which means I have taken bragging rights from you and will go into WrestleMania as the bragging rights holder. We'll see who comes out of Mania. Will I hold it? Will Kidder steal it back after, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, this year, 2023, Kidder has been on fire on predictions and has held bragging rights most of the year. So, will he get it back? The chase is on. But, Kidder, what would you give as an overall grade to this pay-per-view?
Well, I blame staying up too late and having that many drinks for making predictions. I also say this pay-per-view was way better than the last WWE pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber. I had to think about what it was for a second.
I'm glad you said Elimination Chamber. It might just be the fact I've been drinking, because I was like, the Royal Rumble was pretty decent. I totally blanked out. The last week was Elimination Chamber. Oh, which means, Kidder, it's probably time that we wrap this up. And let me just hit a couple cheap plugs on the way out. So you can find us at our home in cyberspace, www.beerbluesbs.com. That's right. It's our home in cyberspace. It's where you can find all of our links to all of the things I'm about to mention. You can also buy us a beer. You can also buy some merch. That's right. We have merch because, you know, we got to somehow, you know, pay for our podcasting addiction. That's a good way for you to enable us to continue this show. Also, it's been up at the bottom of the screen the whole time if you've been watching, and that's that you can donate at streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. You can subscribe, become a monthly subscriber, help us out. Helps us, again, continue to do this show. And we tend to have a lot of fun with it. So we'd like to continue and have fun. So you can easily do that. We also have some merch there at streamlabs.com as well. If you've been watching us on Twitch, you already know how to find us there. But if you're watching us on YouTube, that's right, you can find all of our shows and past live streams on YouTube. Just search for Beer Blues MBS. And make sure you subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. Leave a comment. We like to hear from you. Also, you can find us on the audio podcasts, any audio podcasting service you want. Just, again, search for Beer Blues and BS. We're on Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio Podcast, any of them. We're there, so you can take us with you and listen to Audio Gold, maybe while you're traveling, maybe while you're on your morning commute. We can be there for you. Besides that, we're also on social media. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. I think that's pretty much all of our stuff in a very, very quick fashion, as we usually do. Kidder, any last thoughts before I sign this off?
I sent you a video, and I sure hope that you watch it.
I will try to get to it tomorrow because it's late. It's time that we hit the old, trail, hit some sleep. Morning is going to come way too quickly. So with that, our usual pieces of advice: keep your glass at least half full. Hey, free beer tomorrow. So come back then. And we'll see you all down that way too late on a Sunday night Tuscan Highway.
Broken and shattered glass.
That was Kidder's way of saying I had a better Tuscan Highway line than you did, Howard.
Well, there's broken glass. You can't miss the shattered glass Tuscan reference. No, this is going too long. But see you on the next one. Howard, I broke Howard.
Not everybody.